Are we going, Jeff?
Oh my God. Amon Amarth and SLAYER.
What's going on? It's Athena Amoeba. Last Thursday, I saw SLAYER live. Dude, fucking SLAYER. Legendary fucking band. Honestly, I feel beyond blessed that I got to see them because this is supposedly their final tour. To have had the opportunity to see them live, honestly, is a huge honor. I live in San Diego with my boyfriend and we took a road trip to Phoenix, Arizona just to see SLAYER, Lamb of God, and Amon Amarth. Phoenix was a lot of fun, and I'll be making a whole other video about the entire trip, but this video is about SLAYER. SLAYER's final world tour, highlights and a recap of the show in Phoenix. But before we get into that, if you're new here, welcome and thank you for being here. Okay, on to the show. So we saw SLAYER at the Ak-Chin Pavilion in Phoenix, Arizona. Honestly, this venue is amazing. It's an outdoor venue, it's huge. I imagine in the summer in Phoenix, it's not that great because Phoenix gets to be like 115 degrees. But for being in May, it was awesome. What impressed me the most about the venue was the sound. The sound was just mind-blowingly good. We were sort of far in the back and I just felt like the balance of the guitars and the drums and the vocals, everything was very clear. So clear that it actually sounded awesome on the clips that I caught on the recordings that I played back. As you can see here. Yeah, just super impressed with the sound. The drinks were crazy expensive, but that's to be expected. One beer was $10, a shot was $5. I think I had a total of 4 drinks, so spent upwards of 40 bucks, but it was worth it. It was fun, had a great time. Finally, before I get into the bands, the last thing I'll say is I love the metal community in Phoenix. The metal community shows up in Phoenix. Same as Albuquerque, same as El Paso, Texas. Southwest represents hard for metal. Love, love, love it! Phoenix, you're amazing. Okay, on to the bands. We got to the venue a little bit late. The show started at 6 and we got there at, I don't know, 6:15. By the time we got inside, got settled in, got our drinks, I think it was like 6:20 or something. The first band that played was Cannibal Corpse, so unfortunately we actually missed most, if not all, of their set. We caught half of one song. And Cannibal Corpse are, of course, they're a fucking legendary band. But to be honest with you, I'm not familiar. I'm not a Cannibal Corpse fan. Maybe I have to give them another shot. Maybe I have to give them another try. But I just never got into them. They just aren't my thing, not for me. So I wasn't upset that we missed Cannibal Corpse. Did get a small glimpse of them, and because they're a legendary band, that was good enough for me. I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference between one song to the next from them anyway, so Cannibal Corpse was up first. Next up was Amon Amarth. I'm actually really happy that we saw them live. I was highly impressed with their performance. The stage presence was on point. Their set was great. They had props, a giant hammer, drinking out of a horn, and of course their little dragon Viking boat. That was my favorite part. They started with their song The Pursuit of Vikings, which I think is probably their most popular song. I remember back in the day when I was listening to Amon Amarth, that was one of my favorites, so I was really excited that they started with that song. It's a really fun song, it's pretty bouncy. What's not to love? They played 2 of their new songs, Raven's Flight and Crack the Sky. I actually really like that song. I recorded their whole performance of that song live, and you can catch that here. Yeah, I was really impressed with their new stuff, so much so that I went ahead and bought the album, checked it out. Really like it, good stuff. Solid album overall. If you are into that genre, I highly recommend checking it out. And then of course they had a nice tribute to Slayer, which is of course awesome.
Phoenix, Arizona. So we want to thank Slayer, not only for bringing us on this tour, but also for all the fucking amazing, groundbreaking, crushing metal they put out over the years, right? So we thought that you may, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a drink in your hand or not, right? But maybe you can join us in raising our horns to Slayer. The almighty fucking Slayer! Cheers! Now, this is headbanging music, so let's see you at your house.
I'm sure it was a huge honor for them to play with Slayer. Next on the lineup was Lamb of God, which to be honest was the band I was most excited to see. Now that the show is over, I'm happiest that I got to see Slayer, but Lamb of God was one of my favorite bands for a really, really long time. Probably still are, I just don't think about music as much as I used to. I was a huge Lamb of God fan. This is the 3rd time that I've seen Lamb of God, and they're just always so good. I mean, Randy Bly is an insane frontman, and you know you're always gonna get a great show when you see Lamb of God. My boyfriend's also a huge Lamb of God fan, and it was his first time seeing them, which is one of the main reasons we decided to go to this show.
Want another song, Arizona? You guys still having some fun out here?
So that was awesome. Another thing of note is that one of the band members in Lamb of God, honestly, I don't know who it was. I don't know who's who anymore, but one of the guitarists was wearing a Nipsey Hussle shirt, which just speaks to how conscious these guys are. If you don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but if you don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, he was a hip-hop artist from LA, and the reason I know who he is, and unfortunately he passed away in March, I believe March 31st of this year. May he rest in power. The only reason I even know who he is because he had such a huge influence and impact on his community. He did so much for LA. He did a lot of work to uplift others. He gave a lot back to his community. Some of my friends who do a lot of social justice work talked about him a lot. And Gary Vaynerchuk, who you all know I'm a huge fan of, talked about Nipsey Hussle as well and met with him various times while he was alive. So may he rest in power. But one of the guitarists from Lamb of God was wearing a shirt, Nipsey Hussle shirt. So that also just speaks to how awesome these guys are. They're very conscious and they just know what's up. So one more reason to love Lamb of God. Even though I was the most excited to see Lamb of God, I got the least footage from them, but it's because I was so busy enjoying the show. But I can tell you that I freaked out when they played Now You've Got Something to Die For, as that is one of my favorite songs by them. Five stars for the Lamb of God performance. Finally, Slayer closed out the show, and I don't even know if I can fully explain what it was like to see them live. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the biggest Slayer fan in the world. Thrash metal in general is not one of the genres that I listen to a lot, but I did listen to a lot of Slayer back in the day when I was in high school. I listened to quite a lot of Slayer. I'm not going to pretend that I ever knew their full discography, but I had a couple of their albums that were in the rotation. And of course, they're legends. I had a lot of respect for them. And there's just something about seeing a band so legendary, that's been around so long, that's been so influential, and that has stayed so heavy and true to themselves for so long. There's just something about having the opportunity to see them live, especially knowing that this may very well be the last time you ever get that opportunity. So that was, I mean, there's just some sort of emotion to that. There's gratitude and awe and a little bit of sadness, but mostly just awe, wonder, and reverence. I don't know, it's a crazy feeling. Of course, they played a lot of their most popular songs: War Ensemble, Seasons in the Abyss, God Hates Us All, which I never realized how hilarious that song is until this trip that we took. We were just listening to that song in the car on the way to Phoenix, and I was just cracking up. Like, here's this guy just screaming, God hates us all! God hates us all! It's amazing. It's amazing. Personally, one of my favorite songs has always been Dead Skin Mask, and that was the song that I was just hoping that they would play. I wasn't going to be upset if they didn't play it, but in my mind I was like, if they play this song, that's going to be like everything for me. And they played Rain and Blood, of course, and it looked like that was going to be the last show. They started throwing pics out to the crowd, but you know, of course, we always ask for more. So they got back on and played Dead Skin Mask. I freaked the fuck out. That was amazing. I felt like that was a moment. I felt like almost like it was just for me because I wanted that to happen so bad. And it just kind of was like, it was just a moment. I felt like I saw Slayer. And not only did I see Slayer, but I saw them play one of my favorite songs by them. Actually, my favorite song by them. Then after Dead Skin Mask, they closed out by playing Angel of Death. If you want to see the full performance of Dead Skin Mask and Angel of Death, you can watch that here. And out of all of this, out of as much fun as it was, all the great music, all the circle head banging, which I was actually giving myself permission to do because I judge myself, but I was just like, whatever, just do what you feel. The best moment and the moment that I was happiest that we were there to witness was when Tom Araya was standing on stage after their set was actually done, after they played Dead Skin Mask, after they played Angel of Death, and all the other band members had gotten off the stage. He stayed on stage for minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes, just standing and staring at the crowd and taking it all in. This was the first night of the last leg of their tour, and so I think he really was just taking it in. And then he said this.
I miss you guys.
Just watching him take it in and then hearing him say, I'm gonna miss you guys, I teared up. Like, I started to cry, and I want to cry right now thinking about it. It's just so emotional. Like, you know, here's this legend, this icon, and he's saying goodbye. He's saying goodbye to his fans. He's basically saying, I'm not going to be doing something that's been such a huge part of my life for so long. And so that was really emotional, and it was just an honor to be there in that moment and to get to capture that live. So if you want to see the full version of that, you can watch this video. And if you want to watch all of the clips unedited that I got from the show, you can watch this video here. I'll put the link in the description below. It is quite long, it's 30 minutes long, but these are all of the clips that I caught from the show, unedited, unfiltered, just clips of bands performing and moments from the show. So you can watch that if you're interested in the description below. Overall, excellent tour, fantastic show. I can't say enough about it. I had a blast, and it really, more than anything, just made me want to get back into music. Not necessarily playing music like I used to. Maybe I'm always, that's kind of always in the back of my mind. But more than that, just like listening to more music again, because I really haven't been listening to a lot lately, and I think it's because I judge myself. And I do enjoy listening to all types of music, especially all types of metal. I enjoyed listening to the new Amon Amarth album, which I wouldn't have done had I not gone to the show. So I like listening to a lot more music, and I just gotta stop judging myself and let myself like what I like. And fuck anybody else who has an opinion about it, you know? Just do me, do what I do, like what I like. So this show did a lot for me. I feel like I really want to carry the spirit of a lot of the experiences I had in my life moving forward. Go to more shows, listen to more music, and have more fun, pretty much. I invite you to stay, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know in the comments below if you attended this tour, if you're planning on attending this tour, or what show you're really excited about this year.